I still remember the sound of the mouse clicking. Not the loud kind, the quiet one. The kind you hear late at night, when the room is dark, your eyes are burning, and your heart is racing for no good reason. Click. Buy. Sell. Adjust stop loss. Move, take profit. At that time, I thought I was trading the markets. Looking back now, I realized something uncomfortable. The truth is, I wasn't trading the market. I was trading my emotions. And I was addicted. After 10 years in this game, that's the part nobody likes to talk about. Not the strategies, not the indicators, not the wins you post on social media, but the quiet addiction that slowly takes over your life. If you've ever told yourself, just one more trade before I sleep, you already know what I'm talking about. Because trading doesn't start as an addiction, it starts as hope. When I placed my first trades, I wasn't chasing freedom. I was chasing proof. Proof that I was smart enough. Proof that I could beat something most people fail at. Proof that I wasn't meant to live an ordinary life. I didn't come from money. No connections, no mentors. Just charts, YouTube videos, in the belief that if I worked hard enough, I could figure it out. At first, trading felt magical. The screen lit up with candles moving in real time. A few winning trades made me feel invincible. Losses didn't hurt much because I believed they were temporary. Every small win whispered the same lie. You're close. Keep going. So I kept going. I woke up thinking about the market. I went to sleep replaying trades in my head. Even when I wasn't trading, I was mentally in a trade. I told myself I was disciplined, but discipline isn't staring at charts for 12 hours straight. That's obsession dressed up as ambition. Slowly, trading stopped being a skill I practiced and became something I needed. The real damage didn't show up in my account first. It showed up in my behavior. I checked charts during conversations. I felt restless when markets were closed. A winning streak made me euphoric. A losing day ruined my mood completely. I started measuring my self-worth in pips and percentages. If I won, I felt smart. If I lost, I felt stupid. That's when trading stopped being a profession and turned into a psychological trap. I wasn't managing risk anymore. Risk was managing me. And the market, as it always does, noticed. The biggest mistake I made during those years wasn't over-leveraging. It wasn't bad entries. It was believing that more trades meant more progress. I thought activity was improvement. If I wasn't in a trade, I felt like I was falling behind. If I wasn't clicking, I felt irrelevant. So I forced trades that weren't there. I traded noise and called it opportunity. I chased moves I had already missed. And when I lost, I didn't step away. I tried to fix the pain with another trade. That's how addiction works. You don't stop because you're losing. You keep going because stopping forces you to face the truth that you're not in control. There was a moment, I still remember it clearly, when I realized something was deeply wrong. I had just closed a losing trade, nothing dramatic, no blown account. But instead of accepting it, I felt anger rise instantly. Not frustration, anger. My hand moved back to the mouse before my mind caught up. That's when it hit me. If this were alcohol or gambling or any other addiction, I would have recognized the signs immediately. But because it was called trading, I justified everything as dedication. That realization scared me more than any loss ever had.
At some point, the losses stopped surprising me. That was the most dangerous phase. When you're new, losses hurt. They scare you. They make you cautious. But after years of trading the wrong way, losses become familiar, and familiarity kills awareness. I didn't panic anymore when a trade went against me. I didn't stop to ask whether the setup was real. I just felt an urge, a quiet pressure inside my chest to do something. So I did. I added another position. I lowered my standards. I told myself the market was setting up. In reality, I was just uncomfortable with stillness. That was the core mistake. I wasn't addicted to money. I wasn't addicted to winning. I was addicted to action, to the feeling of being involved, to the illusion of control. The market didn't need me to participate every minute, but I needed the market to validate me. And every time I confused activity with progress, the market punished me quietly. Not with one big loss, but with thousands of small ones that drained my confidence, my patience, and my clarity. The pain wasn't just financial, it was psychological. I started doubting my own judgment, not because I lacked skill, but because I never gave my mind space to breathe. I couldn't tell the difference between a real opportunity and emotional impulse anymore. Every chart looked like a setup. Every movement felt like a signal. When everything feels important, nothing truly is. That's how most traders burn out, not from one catastrophic mistake, but from constantly fighting a market that never asks for a fight. The turning point didn't come with a breakthrough trade. It came on a day when I did nothing. I remember sitting in front of my screens, hands off the mouse, watching price move without me. No entries, no exits, no adjustments, just observation. At first, it felt unbearable. My mind kept whispering, "You're missing something. You should be in that move. You're wasting time." But then something unexpected happened. The urge faded, and when it did, clarity returned. For the first time in years, I wasn't reacting. I was seeing. I noticed how often price moved without meaning, how many setups I used to trade that had no real edge, how rare, clean opportunities actually were. That was the moment I realized the truth nobody talks about. Trading isn't hard because it's complex. Trading is hard because it requires restraint. I started journaling seriously after that day, not just entries and exits, but emotions. Why did I want to trade? What was I feeling before clicking? Was I calm or was I bored? Was this a setup or was this discomfort? The patterns became obvious fast. Most of my losing trades didn't come from bad analysis. They came from psychological noise, from the need to feel productive, from the fear of being left behind, from the discomfort of waiting. Once I saw that clearly, something shifted. I stopped trying to trade more. I started trying to trade less. And that changed everything.
Most people think trading addiction looks like over-leveraging. They picture someone blowing accounts, revenge trading, going all in after a loss. That's the obvious version. The dangerous version is quieter. It looks disciplined on the surface. It looks professional. It even looks productive. Charts neatly arranged, risk per trade controlled, a journal that looks clean. But underneath, the same addiction is still there. The addiction to constant engagement. I learned this the hard way. You can be addicted to trading even when you're doing everything right. Because addiction in trading is not about money, it's about dopamine. Every time you open a chart, your brain is searching for stimulation. Every small price movement feels like a potential opportunity. Every click gives you a sense of agency. The market becomes a slot machine that never turns off. And the worst part? The market rewards this behavior just enough to keep you hooked. A few random wins here, a lucky trade there. Not enough to set you free, but enough to convince you to stay. This is where most retail traders misunderstand edge. They think edge is about entries, indicators, patterns, timing. After 10 years, I see it differently. Real edge is behavioral.
It's the ability to sit in front of a moving market and not participate. It's the ability to watch price do nothing meaningful and feel no urgency to act. Smart money understands this instinctively. Large players don't need constant trades. They wait for liquidity. They wait for imbalance. They wait for conditions that justify size. Retail traders, on the other hand, trade because they're there, because the screen is on, because the market is open, because waiting feels like wasting time. That's not trading. That's anxiety with a chart. I noticed something uncomfortable when I reviewed my own data. The majority of my profits came from a very small number of trades. Not the ones I obsessed over, not the ones I micromanaged, the calm ones. Trades placed without urgency, trades that felt boring, trades that didn't require constant adjustment. Meanwhile, most of my losses came from trades that felt exciting. Fast entries, tight stops, strong emotions. Once I saw that pattern, I couldn't unsee it. My account wasn't losing money because I lacked strategy. It was losing money because I didn't respect stillness. Here's the case study that finally changed my behavior. There was a period where I forced myself to trade only one setup. One. Same market, same conditions, same rules. If it wasn't there, I did nothing. At first, it felt like punishment. Days went by without a single trade. My mind kept trying to justify exceptions. This is close enough. This looks similar. This one should work. I ignored those voices. What happened next surprised me. My win rate didn't explode. My profits didn't skyrocket. But my mental state stabilized. I stopped second-guessing. I stopped overreacting. I stopped feeling drained. And ironically, once the noise disappeared, the market became easier to read. Not because it changed, but because I did. That's when I understood something fundamental. Freedom in trading doesn't come from more opportunity. It comes from fewer decisions. This is the part most people don't want to hear. The market doesn't care how badly you want to trade. It doesn't reward effort. It doesn't notice obsession. It only rewards alignment. Alignment between patience, timing, and self-control. Once I stopped chasing freedom through activity, freedom showed up through restraint. Not dramatic, not cinematic, quiet, and sustainable. Once I understood that my real problem wasn't strategy but behavior, everything I worked on changed direction. I stopped asking, how can I make more money, and started asking, how can I protect my mind? Because a damaged mindset will destroy any system, no matter how good it looks on paper. So I built a few simple rules, not rules for the market, rules for myself. The first one was uncomfortable. If I felt an urge to trade, I didn't trade. That urge was my warning signal. Whenever I felt bored, restless, or impatient, I stepped away from the screen. Those emotions had nothing to do with opportunity. They were just noise. The second rule was even harder. I limited my decision-making. One setup, one risk model, one execution process. Not because it was perfect, but because it removed temptation. Every extra option is another doorway for emotion to sneak in. By simplifying, I wasn't lowering my potential. I was protecting my clarity. The third rule changed my relationship with time. I stopped measuring progress by days and weeks. I started measuring it by emotional stability. Did I feel calm after a trading session? Did I sleep well? Did I feel the need to make it back? If the answer was no, something was wrong, even if the account was up. Slowly, trading stopped consuming my identity. It became a tool, something I used intentionally, not something that used me. Looking back after 10 years, I can say this with complete honesty. Trading didn't give me freedom. Mastery did. Freedom came when I stopped needing the market to entertain me, when I stopped using trades to fill emotional gaps, when I accepted that doing nothing is often the most professional decision you can make. The market didn't change, I did. If you're watching this and you recognize yourself in any part of my story, I want you to know something important. You're not weak, you're not broken, and you're not alone. Most retail traders don't fail because they lack intelligence. They fail because nobody teaches them how to step away. If there's one lesson I want you to take from this, it's this. Trading isn't about how often you trade, it's about how little you need to. When you no longer feel the urge to click, when silence doesn't scare you, when waiting feels natural, that's when you're getting close to real freedom. And if this kind of thinking resonates with you, this channel exists for one reason: to help you master yourself so the market no longer controls you. If you want to continue this journey with me, subscribe to the channel and share your experience in the comments. Tell me honestly, what was the moment you realized trading was controlling you more than you wanted to admit? I'll see you in the next one. Master yourself, master the markets.